السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري ويشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, everybody. I'm very happy to see you here. Welcome. This is the introductory session to the story of Mary in the Quran, which is very exciting for me. And I was studying it last week as I was reviewing all my previous notes and studies. I was so excited. I wasn't expecting that when I collected all the related verses to the story of Mary, I was surprised. I wanted to, because some of us wanted me to study the story of Mary in the Quran. And I said, what kind of conclusions that we will have from these stories scattered here and there, but mainly in the chapter or the section of the Quran, 19th section of the Quran. I said, yes, the main story, the main body of the story is there, but there are some pieces here and there also scattered in the Quran. And what shall I do? What message we can get from it as related to our age now, this time, and so that we can really practice it in our life. And to my surprise, I found very, very beneficial, or more than beneficial, really exciting for me. First, I found many different aspects are covered in this story. I listed them as 7, which will, inshallah, study it at the very end of our studies, series of studies of the story of Mary. But most essential parts are somehow related to the problems of our age, especially the main problem of our age, and also our personal maturity, if you like, maturing ourselves and understanding the effect of our belief in our personal life. It means how the belief will really benefit our life. Now, as we were studying or going through the story, we will understand how important they are, inshallah, and try to share this idea with the help of your comments and your questions, maybe your other concerns, whatever you have in your life, in your mind and in your feelings. So let's start that. Chapter Mary, 19th section of the Quran, 1:9 section of the Quran, was revealed during the period the Prophet's time, 6th year in Mecca. It means the mission was started 6 years ago, had started 6 years ago, and community was suffering from prosecutions, tortures. Not yet boycott was started. It will start 3 years later. But some of the community members, it means followers of the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, felt that they cannot bear these persecutions, depending on their status in the community, in the Meccan community. Some of them were really tortured by their masters or the owners of the slaves. They were slaves. Some of them were really under the stress of family relationship. They couldn't bear it. So whether you know that the migration took place, the first migration took place this year. We, in the Muslim community, migration, which is called in the Quranic language, hijrah. So we know that hijrah is from Mecca to Medina. But in fact, the first hijrah of some of the community members practiced took place during the 6th year of the mission to that time Habash. Habash means Ethiopia now, in the eastern side of the western side of the Arabian Peninsula. Now let's remember the geographical location of Mecca and later on Medina in the same Hijaz area of the Arabian Peninsula. In the west, Habash kingdom was established, and they were Christians. And during the Prophet's time, the Christians came into the southern part of Arabian Peninsula, and the Yemen, now today also it's called Yemen. Yemen embraced Christianity at that time and became the center of Christianity in the Arabian Peninsula. We know that the people from the army from Yemen came to destroy Kaaba, and God protected Kaaba. And the Meccan people did not have this power. The Yemen was a very rich place that time, and still very fertile land, and should be rich, but unfortunately the world economy doesn't allow them to be rich because their agriculture has no value now. Technology has the value, and also weapons, war weapons is the criterion for the power of any nation nowadays. Technology and therefore war weapons. So Yemen is poor in this sense, but the land is fertile. So they were rich then because there was no technology, there was no war weapons apart from the sword and a few arrows or this kind of primitive stuff. Nowadays, primitive stuff. That time it was very developed and high technology. So anyways, this is West Habash, East Yemen, and some other parts of the Arabian Peninsula, and mostly Christian. And eastern side was on the coast, not inland Arabian Peninsula. On the coast was Zoroastrians under the influence of Pars Empire, which is nowadays known as Iran. So on the north, Syria and Roman Empire. The Romans were Christians, but not really like the Christianity in Habash. What was the difference? Romans were mostly concentrating on army power, and their Christianity wasn't like the Orthodox Christianity, Eastern Christianity, in Eastern understanding of Christianity that time. Now it is called Orthodox Christianity, not Protestant Christianity. Later on, it became and became famous as the Protestant Christianity and invaded all Europe, especially Western Europe and America. Or, of course, there are some Orthodox Christians here and there in Europe and also in America, of course. Now, generally speaking, this was the geographical picture of the area. So Habesh king were not like Byzantine or the Roman kings. The Romans were empire, but Habeshistan was just a kingdom, and they were much more loyal to original Christian teaching. And especially king and his family were very much knowledgeable people, and they knew the original teaching of Jesus was based on oneness of God, which is called in the Quranic language, Tawheed. So when they heard this, something is happening in the eastern part of, in their west, in the Arabian Peninsula, there were some movements, something they hear. So Prophet ﷺ asked his somehow, how is it called? Nephew. No, yes, cousin. His cousin, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. He is Imam Ali's brother. So asked Ja'far ibn Abi Talib to be the leader of the group of people who couldn't stand the persecutions of Meccan pagans. So take them and migrate into Habeshistan. It means Ethiopia now. Before this, of course, everything is arranged by God. Before these people moved to Habeshistan or migrated into Habeshistan, which is not very famous in Islamic history because the migration is well known as the Prophet's migration from Mecca to Medina. That is why it's not very famous. But as far as some of the communities are concerned, the first migration took place to Habeshistan. But as God was preparing the minds of the Prophet and the believers, this is important, before they moved to or they migrated to Habeshistan, the part of the Quran, which is called Maryam, chapter Maryam, Surah Maryam, was revealed. It somehow detailed explanation about nature of God and nature of Jesus. that time also the idea of Trinity, Christian doctrine of Trinity, were prevalent. Habashi people were not really into very much into the uh, doctrine of Trinity in Christianity as much as the Romans were. Romans were insisting the nature of Jesus as to be God. But Habashi people were not that much. They were interpreting in a much fairer base. It means, aspect of God, some, not the Son of God, but adopted Son of God, beloved of God, this kind of milder interpretation of it. Now, it is still so, as we see it in Christian doctrine of Trinity among different sects and denominations of Christianity. Now, as we historically know again that this king who received the group of people from Mecca, believers from Mecca, and entertained them, accepted them, welcomed them, when this king died, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, prayed on his absence, his janazah prayer. From there, majority and most of the Muslim scholars agreed that Habashi king was or died as a believer. We know that he believed in God as the only creator, but we have no idea. Historical narrations doesn't disclose which kind of understanding of doctrine of Trinity he had, or the Christian people in Habeshistan had. We don't know much about it, and it is not really our concern. Why I am giving this historical background? The importance of God is taking care of how Islam has been established in its very first period of revelation. So this exemplary period will be taken as a pattern for by the following generations, as we will take it as a pattern. But we will see that God is taking care of the needs of the community. Before these people went to Habeshistan, this chapter, this section of the Quran was revealed, so the people, although they didn't know much about the content of the Christian doctrine or Christianity in general, as a religion, revealed religion by God, but at least they had this idea of Mary as to be the mother of Jesus with no husband. It means no father. And the way she conceived this pregnancy through the angelic news was also known by the Muslim community. So when the king invited this group of people to his palace and asked them what their idea of belief in God and other religions, and especially in Christianity, what do they think of the Christianity? Ja'far ibn Abi Talib recited the chapter, the section of Mary to the king, and king welcomed them, accepted them, and gave them protection. From there, we understand that the king, more or less, of course, it is not our duty to pass a judgment about king's spiritual or belief matter, but he agreed with it. That was a good sign. for the Muslim community. So Muslim community remained there until I think the conquest of Taif, as far as I remember from history. Doesn't matter, but they came back and joined the Muslim community in Medina. When they heard the news that the Medina administration has been established firmly and accepted by majority of the Arabian Peninsula or Arab tribes around Medina. So there was somehow peace in the administration of Medina, although some skirmishes and clashes with Mecca and the allies of Meccan pagans. But mostly the situation was settled down and accepted by majority of the Central Arabian tribes, Arab tribes. So what we understand from here, from this story, that not only teaching the people what the Christian theology was and originally should have been understood by the people in its original form, but apart from this, we will study and see that there are essential teachings concerning Tawheed, oneness of God or uniqueness of God, absoluteness of God, however you call it. So this is important that we will go through as we study the verses. Now, this story in the 19th chapter of the Quran, in chapter Mary, or section of the Quran, which is called Maryam. So let me see. No, it's not this one. How can I manage with this? Okay, this one, no. Can I go one more? No. How about this one? Okay, let me take this one out. So this verse is related to the story of Zechariah. Zechariah is narrated in the Quran as to be the father or ancestor of the forerunner of the prophet Jesus, John the Baptist, Yahya, in the language of the Quran. Now, whether he is the father, that the Quran says he is the father, it is not our concern. But in the example of Zechariah, Zechariah asked God to, didn't have any children, to give him some children or some supporters at his old age, so that he will convey the message to these people or to his own children, whatever. And God asked, Zechariah asked God to give him a person who will interest or inherit, or a person or some people inherit is his heritage. Not only material heritage, Zechariah was famous, is the chief rabbi, if you like, or the teacher, not rabbi really, but the teacher in the temple, Zechariah. So everybody respected him, was listening. He was the first preacher, the highest preacher. His position was the highest preacher in the temple. That's what the history says. And he asked God to give him a supporter. And the angel came him as a response to his prayer, as it is told in the Quran, that he will be given a son. And he's a blessed son. His name will be Yahya, John the Baptist, as he is known now in biblical narration. Now, what happened? He couldn't believe in it. He said, am I going to have a child after this age, old age, very old age? And his wife was also barren. It means didn't bear a child, and also old lady. And the angel says here in the verse that is related to our subject as an introduction to the section Mary. So to the story of Mary. So angel said, "Gala kedalik." That's it. That's how it is. قال ربك هو على هين هو علي هين I'm sorry هو علي هين. It is for me, it's easy. That is as easy for me as لقد خلقتك من قبل, as I created you before, ولم تك شيئا, and you were nothing. You had been nothing. You didn't exist. I gave you existence from nothing. How do you think that? I cannot create a child through you and your wife as you were old. What we understand from this verse, it is very important to notice that this verse essentially teaches us, in fact, God is the one who creates everybody, everything out of nothing. It means out of nothing means while they did not exist, God gives them existence. It means here they are appearing in the world as beings. So as you and me, we did not exist, and God created us. But what we see in the order of the universe is if our creation is coming through some stages of relationship depending on the previous position of the existence. That is, I don't know whether I will be able really to explain it to you clearly, but I'll try my best with my limited language, but you will try also to understand me, but it needs quite close attention, if you don't mind. Now, we see that the things are coming into existence gradually. Yeah, that is how the things in this world happen. We were, as the Quran also describes in this way, we created first a germ, and then a piece of meat, a clot of meat, whatever, and then developed into a bones, and then covered it with flesh, and then skin, of course. Everything is created with its form, covered by its skin, especially living beings. Now, that looks like the things are developing through the order of the universe as if by themselves. As if by themselves. This is extremely essential for us to understand that and ask this question. as we studied on, we have been studying, and on many occasions, I keep repeating this actually, the previous existence needs to be questioned whether the previous existence can be the cause of existence of the next stage of existence. For example, can the germ or the cell, the body, the mother's egg and father's cell, which is called sperm, give existence to its next stage? Of course, nowadays, we must admit that the biological studies explain that everything is recorded in the DNA of living beings, although biology cannot explain the existence of life, how this life started, and how the cell has developed its own DNA. Can it do it? Can it write its own code? Which is huge information. Here, getting the information from the previous generations and also transferring it to the next generations. Can the cell have this information by itself and control it, develop it, adapt itself to the environment to be in the perfect form, although during this stage, they fail in many forms. We don't have any fossils about this failure fossils. That is important because there is no evidence about it. It is a kind of, let's make it in this way. Let's say it in this way. It is adapting. How about during this passage? What's happening during this passage? The DNA tries to adapt itself to the environment and gets the fittest form and remains there. Who is arranging it? Who is deciding it is not explained. It says that's how it is happening. Okay, I mean, they can say anything, but evidence? Yeah, it is how it is happening. How it happened, I see it, but can the previous stage of existence of the thing give birth to its more better form, more developed form? Can the yesterday's form be the cause of existence of today's form, which is more developed? I mean, let's say the existence at the point A and existence at the point B. A is yesterday, B is today. A has certain qualities, B has certain qualities, plus some extra. Now, can the point A existence give birth something to better form of, it means an extra quality in the existence of B? And when we go down to the fundamental component parts of DNA, we find lifeless, no quality of themselves at all, some matter, just matter. That's it. They don't have any knowledge, no power, no free will, no wisdom, no preparation, no choice, nothing. They have no quality. And how they are arranging and perfecting themselves is not explained. They say it's a claim. Life requires it. Why? Where did you get the life? Life has no matter. Matter is different. Life is different. Life is something immaterial. How can matter be the source of something which is immaterial? Is also not answered. They are taken for granted. For example, I may see here I found the computer or laptop in front of me. I am using it. Okay, welcome. It's using it. All right. I press on this key on the keyboard. This happens. Is it wrong? No. When I press on this, on a certain key, certain thing happens on the screen. And the biologists say, if you press on it, this will appear on the screen. Is it wrong? No, it's correct. But the biologist himself, the person herself or himself, adds her or his own interpretation, saying that this particular key is the cause of existence of the thing appeared on the screen. Oh, can it be? Can this key know what will happen? Does it have the power to know, to arrange, to make it more perfect appearance? Or it is made in this way by a conscious being? Now, biology has no answer to this. It is how it is happening. That's what we see, correct? I see as well, but I also know as an intellectual human being that my mind forces me to accept that this key cannot operate by itself. There is a program, and this program has been produced by an intellectual being who knows its function of each key, arranged the program in the machine, material side of the machine, to perform this program so that it will work perfectly. That is a conscious choice of a conscious being. That makes sense. But the biologists insist that, no, we see how the things are happening in the world, so we should not go into an idea which necessitates to accept that there is an intelligent being behind the existence of the whole universe and its order. For example, here is the computer in front of me. I definitely believe, even the most atheist philosopher believes, accepts that, I'm saying believes on purpose, not only knows, no, I don't know the engineer, a conscious being, women, men, how old he or she is, and where he lived when he arranged all this program. I have no idea, but I definitely believe and confirm that there is an conscious agent behind the existence of this computer. Equally so, my intelligence forces me, definitely tells me that you must accept that the universe is an intelligent, conscious being, as an agent behind its existence, and his operation is so perfect millions of different creatures, billions of different creatures are coming into existence continuously, changing, renewed. For example, the computer is limited. Computer cannot renew itself, change itself. If it is programmed to change in certain way, the program is fixed. You can edit by a conscious being. But the computer cannot do anything apart from it is programming. And the program is the production of a conscious engineer, a being. Although I haven't seen it, I don't know him or her, but I believe definitely, rationally, intellectually, I am absolutely sure there must be an engineer, conscious being behind it. It cannot happen accidentally. That is so simple. So let me see this one. Point A is an interconnected to innumerable factors that are themselves interconnected to so innumerable factors, Shahrani family writes. And each factor has to have specific qualities in order to work out of infinite other possibilities. All of these factors have to be perfectly maintained as they all undergo change and arrive at point B, together now, all different, stable, and yet again in perfect balance. And point A has no quality. I am adding now to Shahrani family's beautiful, beautiful comment. I am adding to it. And this previous computer has no mind, has no knowledge, has no will, has no, I don't know, consciousness. It is just simple matter. And I can just smash it, throw it away. It cannot act independently. It is totally dependent on the order of the universe. In any matter cannot act at all against the order of the universe. And order of the universe is or cannot be the product of matter itself, because matter is bound by the order of the universe. We have to understand this. Matter is bound, dependent in its existence on the order of the universe. They exist within the order of the universe. They cannot be the source of existence of the order of the universe. So let me see, there are some other. Mumina said, I have to go now, Jazakallah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mumina, to be here. I know you have a class or other, business. Thank you very much for joining, even until now. And Shahrani family writes even further, and point A has no knowledge, will, consciousness of how to make these infinite perfect interactions happen. Now, Shahrani family, your point is completely, your point makes sense, but even it is not that much infinitely perfect. Even very simple, still it cannot choose. It cannot know. It cannot give existence to the being in this example, in point B. It has no quality. Perfection is just an extra. Balance is just an extra. And the change from point B to A is taking place in a perfect order is extra. Even at a very extremely simple level, still point A cannot be the agent of the existence of point B. That's what Quran is simply teaching us here, because Zechariah thought of it in terms of causal chain. He said, I am an old man. I cannot be the source of existence of a child anymore as I am. But if you were young, my brother Zechariah, in the example of the Quran, I'm not blaming him. This is how the Quran gives the example to teach us how to make sense of existence. So even if you were young, do you think it would be you who will be the agent in the existence creator? It means in the existence of the baby. Mind you, you are created when you were nothing. So we have to learn this expression of the Quran, at least not this verse altogether. وَلَمْ تَكُ شَيْئًا, you were nothing at all. وَلَمْ تَكُ شَيْئًا, at all, it means. When the nothing is translated, forget about those official translations. Let's make it an informal but real sense. You were nothing at all. I gave you existence. So you think that even now, I cannot create anything. Now it came to my mind. Why are we studying Zechariah if the subject is the story of Mary? That is the backbone of the subject. It is also in the same section of the Quran, 19, how the Quran starts presenting the Mary story by presenting the story of Zechariah and saying that you were nothing at all. We created you. Why do you think that we cannot create now a baby through you, for you? Why do you think? What does it mean? We are creating in order, but we are not bound, imprisoned by the order as we create, as the creator of the order. I couldn't create the order in order to keep me in prison. This is what I mean? The Quran says. Of course, our mind will be completely ready to understand the creation of Jesus through mother only with no father. As the Quran explains in other sections, that God, it is God who created Adam, human being, any human being, with no father, no mother. But we understand that Adam is the first man, as it is described in the Quran. This is how Quran makes this thing simple. It says Adam was the first man. Okay, we created him with no father, no mother. As an example, I can come to me now. I have a father, I have a mother, but are my father and my mother the creator of me, my creator? Quran says no. But as an example to make it easy, my father is not my creator. He didn't know even I was going to be a man or boy or girl, whatever. He didn't know anything at all. Which kind of hand, which kind of, I don't know, feelings I should have. No idea whatsoever. My mother also was in the same position. So I am created, as the Quran says, وَلَمْ تَكُ شَيْئًا, as you were nothing, as I was nothing. It means وَلَمْ أَكُ شَيْئًا in Arabic. I was nothing at all. Now we understand. We have to apply to ourselves. First, Quran speaks on examples to make it extremely easy and accessible to any people. You don't have to be an educated man in biology to understand this. You may be an illiterate man. You can understand this. I was nothing and given existence. Brother, that's how it is. I see a person says, I'm pregnant, I am a child. Although it is taken within an order, but order and the previous point in the existence of anything cannot be the source of existence of anything, because order is our concept, that is our construction. That's how we see the world as it is created consciously by a conscious being in a perfect form, and we see that it is created within a certain order. It doesn't mean that order is the creator. It doesn't mean that matter is the creator of the order either. What is that? That's how we see the world, perfectly arranged. It means the creator has arranged everything perfectly. So, Adam's creation in the example with no father, no mother. We say Adam represents me and you, of course. So your creation totally depends on God's act of creation, not your father's and mother's acts of creation. No. But the order is taking place. God is creating the things within an order so that we will know how to behave in this world. If there was no order, there would be no point, because in a chaotic way, I would be making no sense of the existence at all. I wouldn't be able to think, and I wouldn't fulfill the purpose of my existence. Purpose of my existence is to introduce the creator to my spirit, to myself. But the creator gives existence to the universe in such a way that I say this is a perfectly arranged acts of creation. So these acts must have a conscious, deliberate creator who is creating everything in a merciful way, beneficial way, and purposeful way. And he is demonstrating his qualities in this perfect order of the universe so that I can understand that this universe has a creator and this universe has such and such qualities as I see the manifestations of the qualities in the creation. So that is how the subject of Mary is introduced to us in the Quran through the example of Zechariah. And this is, let us summarize it before the time is up. This is fundamentally teaching us, first, causes have no effect. Cause is how we see the order. Nothing in this universe is really causing anything to exist. So we can say there is no causes as creators so that they will create the effects. Cause and effect represents only what I see, how the order of the universe functions. That is so basic. That's one thing. And the second thing is that we have to remember our existence right now is a new existence. Yesterday is gone. Today's existence is completely a new existence. I was not at all in existence as I exist now. Although in my memory, this is a fine point. In my memory, I remember I looked like me last year. I look like me right now. But is it the same? No. If you see my picture 20 years ago, you cannot believe. Oh, yeah, it looks like Ali, but he's not exactly the same now. How about 50 years ago? Impossible to imagine that when I was a young guy 50 years ago, I didn't know that I'm going to create or be a source of existence, or my cells also, my DNA also cannot make this program by itself. DNA is created within an order. DNA is functioning, seems to be functioning by itself, but it is not functioning. It is given existence continuously. It is given existence continuously in a new shape, in a new form, in new qualities. So causes cannot be the creators. Everything is given existence from scratch. From scratch. This is our conclusion. We have to understand that my existence right now is not dependent on my yesterday's existence. It is dependent on the one who gives the existence continuously anew at every moment, continuously. So the source of existence must be, by definition, an absolute being, because this continuous existence can only be explainable by attributing to a creator, to a source of existence, which must be absolute in his self-existence being. That is called God. That's what God, how the Quran describes it, how the universe demonstrates it, how our human feelings, human capacity can understand it, and how the Quran explains it in the example, through examples. Here is the Zechariah examples, here is the Adam examples. They are all for us to understand it. So we will comfortably understand what the story of Mary conveys to me, and how I should understand the creation of Jesus in a particular way, which is not accustomed by me. It means I have not seen anyone who has been created without father and mother, but my intelligence can understand that my existence is always walam taku shay'a. I had been nothing at all. I am given a new existence right now as I am. So let me see, the time is up. Let me see what is written here. Okay, there are many things written here. Okay, even if it was one simple interaction, it doesn't know how to choose a single thing. Thank you. It's a good, very good, perfect summary of what we said at that time. So thank you. So Shahrani family wrote again, when I see the order he has given to creation, I say he is great. I think when I see the order, he with capital H, the creator, the agent, the intelligent being behind the existence of every single event in the universe. So this is called God. God has given to creation. So God is not an imagination. God is an intellectual, necessary conclusion that it must be so. That's what it is called. Belief must be so, not knowledge. Knowledge is different. Knowledge, you get there how the things are happening in the world. But belief is your intellectual conclusion. For example, I study the computer, see how it is working. This is my knowledge. How about my conclusion? This thing itself cannot make it as I see it. So there must be an intelligent, my intellectual conclusion is there must be an intelligent creator or the maker, producer of this computer. That is my belief. Belief says as a result of intellectual activity, knowledge is also experimental. So, okay, we understood that one. So I say God is great when I see he can create without that order. I see he is great. It means even within the order, he is the creator of the universe so that I can understand that an intelligent being is creating it. That is how I see and then order. It means we have to understand there is no universe plus order. No, that is wrong. Now, there is a universe existing, and we see that this universe exists in such a way that we call it order. We call it order. That's what we have to understand. Order is our naming the way the things are coming into existence. It means the way the things are created. That is how I title it, give a name to it. That is what we have to understand. There is no universe and order somewhere there. There is no universe and a law of creation, law of nature somewhere there. There is no universe and plus nature. No, that is how I call the universe as it is, nature. That is how I call the principles in the creation of the universe. I call it the law of nature. That is how I call it all together, the order of the universe. But what is out there? Only the universe. So time is up. Sorry, let me read Jay. Thank you, Jay, for your comment. Makes me think of epigenetics. Our genes themselves can continuously change. Okay, I think you meant our genes themselves can continuously change by themselves. Do they have, of course, do they have conscious? Do they have free choice? Do they have the ability to make a decision? Do they have the ability to make themselves perfect, adapt themselves to the environment? Why should they? I have a consciousness. So if it is hot, I put the AC on. If it is cold, I put the heater on. I am a conscious being. I choose that much. I cannot give existence to anything, but I use AC. I use the order of the universe and make the AC and utilize it. How about meta? Can meta choose to utilize something? Do they have consciousness? Do they have the power to give existence? What we do, we use it. So matter also exists as they are given existence. as they are given existence. That's what we have to understand, my friend Jay. As they are given existence. That's what we observe them. I don't think you meant this, but uh, Shehrani family wrote, then Jay wrote back, knowledge is a collection of things known, including what names I give to qualities that exist. Belief is an intellectual conclusion. It is the perfect summary of what we lately studied. Jay said, in response to your word on how we are always created now. No, we are created, Jay. I'm very happy that you are. We are given existence now. Don't I see that I exist right now? Don't I see, don't you see that you exist right now? So we are given existence by a one who creates the whole universe, puts me in it in a perfect alignment with the rest of the universe. Jay, if you are not satisfied with it, we can keep discussing this matter with you next week. Thank you. So think about it. Think about it. Don't think, my friend Jay, don't think from God's perspective how he is created. We don't know absolute being. We understand that such a being must exist, and he must be the source of existence. Now, what we see, the work. Now, I see there is a table here. And by looking at the table, what I conclude, this table must have a carpenter or a designer or a producer. Did I see? No, that's my conclusion. How did I conclude? How did I come to this conclusion? I saw the art. I saw the action. I saw the work. So we see the work. Here I exist. Yesterday I was given a different existence. Today I am given a different existence. But the difference is so minute. But no, there is a difference. I am a different being from I was yesterday. My today's existence is a new existence with new qualities. That's what we have to understand. If you like, please remind me, we have to study this verse again by emphasizing on the importance of importance of this phrase. Welem teku shay'an. You were nothing at all. Now you have been given a new existence. From the very beginning, as we understand, before we were born, we didn't exist as far as our memory tells us, reminds us. But in fact, we should apply it yesterday, last year, and today, right now. So this is fundamental for us to understand how the existence is taking place, so that we will go into the story of Mary and see how Jesus was created without a father, as we are accustomed with. We are accustomed with the order, but the creator is not bound by the order. That is the core message we will learn from the story of one of the core messages. There are others. One of the core messages, but the most fundamental of the message is this: we will learn that the creation is absolutely in the hands of the will of the creator of the whole universe. That is the conclusion of today's class. Thank you very much. And I hope I will see you, inshallah. Oh, 11, 12 minutes past. I'm sorry. Though, inshallah, try to come before 5 so that we will just start at 5. On Monday, we will just start at 7 and Saturday at 11. So come a few minutes before so that we will start the subject from the very beginning and we will follow the sequence of the reasoning and try to understand the verses. Verses are not telling stories, verses are telling my reality now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Jay says, let me read this, put my class. Thank you so much. Is the next class Monday? Today is Wednesday. Next class Saturday at 11, Monday at 7, inshallah. Betul, jazakallah khair. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa akhir da'wahum and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bihurmati sir. Let me stop